How did we do it? Well, you see, in my mind, the answer is very simple. We did what we had to do. We did our best. We chose to grow through that experience. We kept our sense of humor, and we kept the faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in each other, faith in this country, faith in God. And you see, I see those things as directly translatable into your lives. I mean, after all, how are you going to deal with the problems you're going to face? How do you choose to do your job? How do you choose to live your life? How are you going to deal with the tragedy that's coming? How are you going to exercise the influence that you have? How are you going to do what you have to do your best? You growing through all this? You keep your sense of humor? You keep the faith? But wait, before I press you too hard, I owe you a few answers. How did we do it? Well, in fact, the first thing we decided we had to be able to do was communicate. Somehow we knew instinctively we couldn't allow ourselves to be isolated in these cells. I don't know how we knew that. I'd like to tell you it was because we were so smart. You probably wouldn't believe that. I don't believe it either. But somehow we knew we couldn't allow ourselves to be isolated in these cells. So we decided we had to work on that. Actually, let's think about that for a minute here this morning. Do you have this picture in your mind that I've tried to paint, groups of Americans locked up in these cells? Well, we decide, just picture a few of us locked up in a cell somewhere. And we decide, okay, we've got to be in touch with people. Now, there are many parts to the problem. First part to the problem is this. Whatever we decide to do had better be very sneaky. Because if they catch us, they're going to beat us. So what we decided we could do that would be very, very sneaky would be to go over there and tap very quietly on that wall. That'd be sneaky. Next part of the problem is this. We must now think of something we can go over there and tap on the wall quietly so that if we got the correct answer, we would know immediately that's an American. They might not be Americans over there. It might be Thai, Laotian, Arvin. Could be our captors sneaking around trying to catch us doing these things so they could beat on us for a while. So we're going to have to think of something that we can tap on the wall quietly so that if the answer were correct, we would know immediately that's an American. What does that sound like? Morse code. Well, Morse code presented a problem to us. We all knew Morse code, of course, and I know that telegraphers can do the dot dash thing somehow with that little key, but us thumping on these walls, we were never able to quite figure out how to do dots and dashes. That's okay. You all work on that for a little while. Other suggestions. I need to tap something so that if the answer's correct, I know immediately. What's that sound like? Shaving a haircut. It sounds like dot, 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 dot. I can tell you this. If there's an American within 100 miles, they go dot, dot. I don't know why that is. I used to think it was because of Burma shave. Then I found out there people don't know what Burma shave is anymore. I now believe it's because we have all of us wasted hours of our lives in front of that tube watching those cartoons. And they always end with dot, 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 dot. You see, it's automatic. I'll tell you something else now. You have to remember that my observations in Hanoi are through a little keyhole in a prison, but they couldn't replicate that rhythm. Oh, they knew what we were doing. They beat it out of us. But when they'd come around and try to tap us up on the wall, it never sounded like dot, 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 dot when they did it. It'd be different. It'd sound like dot, 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 dot. It was, hey, they didn't have Looney Tunes in that country, you know. Okay, so we go over to the wall, we tap quietly, dot, 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 dot. We get the answer, dot, dot. We know it's an American. What might we do next? Suggestions? We go 1 for letter A, 2 for letter B, 3 for, I can't tell you how old it gets. Tap 15 times on that wall to go find the letter O in the alphabet. See, not only that, in our alphabet, all the good stuff, it's down there towards the end someplace. So the next thing we did was, you picture this in your mind, we built a 5x5 matrix into which we put the letters of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Now, some of you already know that I have 25 squares and 26 letters I have to deal with. So we use the letter C for letter K. Now everything fit. So we could tap a number down the side, a number across the top, locate a letter in the matrix. We'd go fast. If you put your ear on that wall, it'd sound like high school typing class just before graduation. That code was so good. We used it for everything. If they take you out and give you the bamboo broom and tell you to sweep down the walkway in between the buildings, you could sweep in the code. See, it'd sound like this. It was like being on the radio. You could do whatever you want. You could tell jokes. The whole world was out there waiting to hear from you. And then if they took us out and did not give us the bamboo broom, we did it with body noises. Not the kind of body noises some of you are thinking about, but rather it sound like and we'd cough and hack and sputter and spit. You get in the punchline to your joke, the whole world was out there waiting to hear from you. How do we do it? The first thing we did was always work out this whole communications process. Always, always, always. And I want to tell you this morning that I think the analogy between this story that I want to tell you and your work in your lives is very good. This is very good. See, here we are. We're locked up in these cells. They want us to be cut off, isolated, out of touch with each other. Here you are in your, we won't call them cells. We might call them cells. Places where you live and work. Now, there is no plan to cut you off, isolate you, get you out of touch. But I know when I start asking the question this way, hey, how easy is it for you to start to feel like somehow you're getting disconnected? Somehow you're getting disconnected from the people that work for you, the people you work for. How easy is it for you to start to feel like you're isolated? Hey, in a company this big, all over, how easy is it for you to feel like you're hunkered down in Westwood and getting completely detached from the whole company? Or I get real personal too, see. We'll go right home. I can start asking you about how easy is it for us to lose that kind of connection with our spouses, with our children. How easy is it for us to get isolated and out of touch with each other? It is so easy. Why should we be concerned about that where we were? Well, for starters, if we're going to do anything on a scale larger than a few people locked up in one of these cells, we've got to be able to communicate with each other. If we're going to get organized, figure out what's going on here, who's in charge, do we have some sort of purpose, what constitutes ethical conduct for us, how do we support each other, how do we take care of each other, anything on a scale larger than a few people locked up in a cell, we've got to be able to communicate.
The rest of his story is equally compelling and helps us realize how much control we really have over our lives. Tomorrow, we'll discuss how to create your dream life, and it might not be the image you've always had in your head. We'll see you tomorrow.